Well, hi there, folks. Welcome to the program. This, of course, is Stinchfield, the podcast. You know, quite frankly, I'm tired of the government lying to us. I'm tired of the Fed lying to us. You look at inflation numbers, and here we have GDP numbers, by the way, that are coming out far greater than expected. I think much of that is because President Trump, his team, is starting to dig in and mandating that the people coming up with these numbers start telling the truth. But even inflation, I'm not convinced that inflation is where it is. I think it's lower. And there's a company out there called Trueflation, which has literally thousands of data points, which is bringing in a much lower rate of inflation than we're getting from the federal government. So all of this is par for the course of what we should believe and what we shouldn't believe. And so what I want to do is bring in Kip Herriage from VRAinsider.com, Vertical Research Advisory, to talk about this. It's just on Fox Business yesterday. Literally, you know, he's known as the Nostradamus of the markets. And there's a reason for that. I'll let him tell you why. But I want you to go to VRAinsider.com. That's VRAinsider.com. He's got a newsletter that is fabulous. Every day will just literally spell out what you need to do to be bringing in 30 to 50% returns. When you look at his yearly numbers, 35% in 2025 returns on their portfolio that you can literally match. You just follow his lead. VRAinsider.com. That's VRAinsider.com. You get a 2-week trial if you sign up today. All right, with that, folks, let's get the show started here and get it rolling.
Uncensored and unapologetic. This is Stinchfield. Here's your host, Grant Stinchfield.
All right, welcome back, everybody. As promised, Kip Herriage is here, VRAinsider.com, Vertical Research. Kip, welcome to the program.
Thanks again, Grant. Great to see you again.
All right, so you were just telling me right before we came on, and you know, we joke, I said it on the Real America's Voice show about you being the Nostradamus of the markets, but you literally have that nickname. I've seen that in other places as well. You've predicted a lot, including, you call it the Trump economic miracle. You were the one that coined that phrase. Tell me what you realized was going to happen before President Trump was even nominated the first time.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the president when he had his reality show, to be clear. But then my good buddy and your friend, Wayne Allen Root, told me in 2016, early 2016, that Trump was going to win. So Wayne likes to make predictions, and he's pretty good at it, right? He's very much like you. You guys are centered, and you see the markets and events clearly, right? Common sense. And so that got my attention, started paying attention. And then I was writing my new book. And I said, you know what? I think Wayne's right. Everything I looked, I was like, if this guy is who he says he is, right? Common sense, America first. I'm on board. Mm-hmm. So I endorsed Trump, said he'd win about mid 2016, then called my book. The title was Crash Proof Prosperity, Becoming Wealthy in the Age of Trump. And I predicted Trump would win. Again, I was following Wayne's lead, but yeah, I made the call too. And then said the market would jump 25% in this first year. I did name it the Trump economic miracle. I was the first to do that. And again, if it weren't for the pandemic in 2020, where the economy, was off the rails, Trump's first term would have been a whole lot better than it winded up. But as he said yesterday at Davos, we're back on track now. Yeah. This is it. It's happening. And so I think the economy and the markets are going to absolutely soar from here. That's how we're positioned. And that's what we're telling our clients daily.
You know, it is amazing. I always say out of every tragedy or negative event, something amazing happens. And the tragedy or negative event in this was not only the pandemic and everything that happened, but we learned an awful lot from that. I don't think we'll let that ever happen to us again. And then President Trump having the election stolen. I don't think President Trump would be the man he is today, even with the economic policies that he has today, if it wasn't for 2020 and having that election stolen and having some time to assess the field. Kip.
Hey, they say everything happens for a reason. I couldn't agree with you more. That's exactly, he learned from it. He's a better politician. I think he's a better man. He's extremely focused on what he wants, which is helping the American people to live the life of their dreams. That's what he's all about. And, I believe he's really into manifesting. Okay. I don't know. One of my favorite books is Manifest Your Destiny by Dr. Wayne Dyer. I read this book essentially daily. It's taught me so much. And when I hear Trump speak, I hear all of that language from Dr. Wayne Dyer in Trump's speeches and his voice and his patterns, right? And so he's creating the future for all of us. He's actually out there doing it for all of us. I know to some people it sounds a little hokey pokey. Look, I'm 63, so I think I get to get away a little bit with saying things. I've experienced this in my life. I see it in Trump, and I think that's what's happening here, Grant. And I think you do too.
I'm going to tell you something. You knocked me out of my chair because something weird is going on. All right. So my sister gives me a book by Wayne Dyer. I'd never heard of this guy. Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. It's a little over my head. I'm trying to get into it, but so I start that. Then my buddy is the CEO of a company called Memphis Capital. It's a neat firm, bundles SBA loans and stuff, and it's kind of a broker dealer thing. But he tells me Wayne Dyer changed his life. You got to read this book. That was literally on Tuesday night. And then you bring it up today, and I'm like, man, oh, man, I got to start looking at this guy because everybody that I respect is talking about him.
It's a game changer book. I recommend it to everybody. We tell our clients and subscribers to read it. I think when you read the first chapter, you're going to be like, this book is speaking to me.
Tell me the name of it again.
Manifest Your Destiny by Dr. Wayne Dyer.
Okay. I do believe in manifestation. It happened to me one time when I wanted to get into TV the first time. I know I manifested it, and it happened. Then the funny thing was, Kip, I ran for Congress in 2011, and I knew I was going to win, even though I was such an underdog. I was running against an incumbent Republican primary. I knew I had manifested this thing. Womp womp. Didn't work. So I don't know. I still do believe in manifestation. But this brings us back to our original conversation. I don't want to get totally off track. But inflation. You introduced me to a group called Trueflation, which uses a lot more data points than I think the government's using when they come up with inflation numbers. Tell me the difference between inflation and Trueflation.
Yeah, this is a great company to follow. They're on social media. I see their posts daily on X, formerly Twitter, and I highly recommend it. We tell our clients to follow it. Trueflation.com, that's the website, or just Trueflation on Twitter or whatever you're on. And as you say, these guys have, I honestly think it's millions of data points. I don't want to get this wrong, but I have in my head millions of data points that are real time in nature. So they're tracking everything that the Bureau of Labor Statistics does, BLS, but they're doing it in real time. The problem with the BLS, number one, they're government bureaucrats. So what they do is very flawed to begin with, but it's always lagging data. That's why people will go, how is the market going up or down? How's the market doing this with the news we just got from the BLS? Because the BLS is 3 to 6 months, sometimes a year behind what's actually happening in the economy. Trueflation helps solve that problem. And so right now what they're saying, and they just announced this morning, they now have inflation down, Grant, to 1.2%. Remember, the Federal Reserve and the BLS are telling us it's 2.7%. This is what Jay Powell is hooked on, and this is why he won't cut rates, because he thinks inflation is still a problem. We don't have inflation. We now have disinflation. And the banking system should be aware of this, because the buzzword that banks hate the most, it scares them the most, is the word deflation, right? Debt becomes worth less and it's not needed as much. So Jay Powell is not only hurting Trump and the second America with these high rates, he could be hurting his own banking system. And that's something they should pay attention to.
Do you think that it's just government bureaucracy and this behemoth of an agency and the Bureau of Labor Statistics and every other agency? Or is there something nefarious at play when these numbers are coming out? Are we getting legit numbers? Are they trying their hardest?
You're probably asking the wrong guy. I'm a conspiracy theorist, but only because, I've learned 9/11 woke me up, right? 9/11 taught me to do true research, then the Patriot Act, and I started putting pieces together, right? And so that changed my methodology, the way I research things. But as to the BLS, I just think that they're government employees. They are told what to do. So yes, I think the data is flawed. It's politicized. But Trump fired the head of the BLS. What was it, about 4 months ago now? Yeah. All of a sudden, now we're starting to get data that looks much more honest. It's still lag, but it's looking much more honest. Again, he's dismantling the deep state one by one.
There's no way that's a coincidence, is there? That he fires the head of the BLS and now all of a sudden data's starting to look more realistic.
No way.
All right. So you look at these numbers at Vertical Research Advisors, and I urge everyone, go to the website, VRAinsider.com, sign up for this 2-week trial. You're clearly going to places like Trueflation, others, to get your assessment of this very bullish market that ahead of us. You got to think outside the box in this day and age, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to. If you're getting your news from the financial mainstream, right, you're going to be disappointed and you're going to be wrong all the time. Both of my mentors, right, were contrarians, and my mentors were just incredible Wall Street guys. By the way, interesting story. Both of their mentors worked on Wall Street during the Great Depression and the crash of 1929. That's the lineage that I've been very blessed to come by through my career of 41 years. They were contrarians and taught me to be a contrarian, not to trust. Just because you read the paper, see it on TV, doesn't mean you got to trust it. Sometimes you can, often you can't. So what we always tell people, and what I've done personally, I've developed my own mastermind group, right? The people like you and like Wayne Root and the financial folks that I know I can trust, like Trueflation, right? People I can trust politically, economically, investment-wise. I keep it a very tight circle, no more than about 10 people, and I follow what they do. I don't always agree with them, but I take it as an input. And that's really changed the way that my oldest son and I, Tyler, and now our youngest son, Sam, has joined us too, the VRA. It's really changed the way that we look at things, and it's really impacted our success to the positive.
Yeah, find people you respect and trust. I'm a firm believer in this as well. And as you said, dissent is always welcome. I don't just need everybody's going to agree with everything I say, but you take these things as data points and you start to put them together. It is interesting when you say you can't trust the financial markets and all of the not the financial market. You can't trust the financial news and the media, because just look at the BLS. They'll come out with a number, and then lo and behold, they adjust that number. And if it's for President Trump, they try to either, if it's adjusted in his favor, they don't report on it. With Joe Biden, they were constantly adjusting financial numbers not in his favor, and they never reported on it as well. Yeah. It's lies by omission.
Yeah, it's demoralization. Frankly, that's what's going on. It's what has been going on here. This is what I think, and I think maybe you'll agree with me on this. I think the goal of communism, one of the goals of communism, is they try to take over democracy or a planet of democracies. They want to demoralize the people. It's one of the most important steps of the communist takeover. If they can get you where you don't trust anything, where everything is heads and tails different than it should be, you start to go. You become very malleable. You become very controllable, and that's what they want.
Yeah, not us. Certainly not you, Kip Harris. Certainly not me, and not Wayne Allen Root either. So that's three of us in the camp of we're not going to be malleable anytime soon. Before I let you go, I know you're tight on time. Market's open today. What do you want people to know and why they should come visit VRAinsider.com?
Well, we like to think that we're going to tell you exactly what's what. And I'm a no-nonsense guy. I'm a red-pilled American patriot, native Texan, 5th generation. Of course, both my boys are 6th generation. It's a family business. And we like to think we do things the right way. We tell you what we're doing with our money, so you can invest your money as you see fit. We don't have those conflicts of interest. We don't make commissions off you or any fee-based. We don't do any of that here, right? As you say, it's a daily letter. If you join for 2 or 3 weeks, you get everything we have. You get the letter, you get our special reports, you get all of our picks from the last decade. We're the only financial publishing firm on the planet that we know of that puts every trade we've done for a full decade in our members' back office, so you can validate what we've done. We've beaten the market in 19 to 22 years. I would just say that if you're a common sense person, if you love this country, and if you're tired of losing to the markets and you'd rather fund your retirement fully, come join us. We'd love to have you with us.
Yeah, it's such great advice, and it is such a great newsletter. And look, just if you've watched the short time that we've been doing this podcast now for a few weeks, last week on this program, you said the Japan bond market is really the only issue that could inhibit us. And sure enough, when we had the market crash earlier in the week, what did Scott Besson come out and say? It was the Japanese bond market. And I thought to myself, oh, my God, Kip Harris literally just warned me of this. I mean, amazing. You were days in advance of it.
Appreciate that.
Well, it's good stuff, my friend. Always good to see you. Go get back to making you and your clients money. And thanks for coming on, Kip.
Thank you, Grant. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Absolutely. A pleasure is all mine. Folks, let me tell you again where you can find Kip and make sure you subscribe to that newsletter, VRAinsider.com. That's VRAinsider.com. Again, 35% the portfolio did. You literally copy it. He's invested in the same things that he's recommending to you. They did 35% in 2025. I don't know what more you have to say. It's fabulous. I am following this model, and I couldn't be happier with it. VRAinsider.com, VRAinsider.com. Again, a 2-week trial. Go there and sign up. Folks, to all of you, Stinchfield's Army rolls. And we'll see you on the Real America's Voice show tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, everybody.